These Google Noodle Bing brains are so intent on achieving an inhumane, an automated, a dehumanized society, and they will sacrifice anyone and everyone. If you are posting the truth to Reddit, to YouTube, to any product that has anything to do with Meta, it's being suppressed. They just changed the color blue. They like it's a hyperlink, but it's not getting out there. Stop chasing followers. If you telling the truth, it's not going to get out there. They keep you chasing followers like there's something wrong with you, but it's really being suppressed on their end from Jump Street. I type in the word confounding into Gmail. It's auto-corrected to confusing. It's not misspelled. They're trying to replace confounding, a human conundrum, with confusing, a robot's logical fault. They are trying to dehumanize us. They are trying to program us, and they will sacrifice anyone. We need God. We don't have much time left. Every academic institution needs to maintain their own data servers. They do not need to have any data stored with Google. Do you really think that the United States government has given big data a pass, a blank check to invade our privacy? No, they have to be getting something out of it. We are living in a surveillance state. I am hiding from my old roommate. I was hiding from my old roommate who was HIV positive. He was creeping on me. At one point, he apologized. He said, I'm sorry for being, he didn't finish. And he said, my mental health is my biggest challenge right now. So I went to a hotel because he was basically intimating that he was going to try to do something to me. And, be nice or else. You know what I mean? And so I went to a hotel for 2 weeks. And I opened up my phone, and Google had created a calendar invite, a calendar item with my precise location, the exact hotel I was staying, and for the exact dates. They read my email from Priceline and created a calendar event without my express, it was just so distressing. Okay. They now they send me reports of every place I've gone in a day. I did not activate anything. We are living in a surveillance state, and we need to be clearly aware. Now, my building on the west side, this is not to disparage anyone. I have lived there for 2 years. The structure has started to tilt dramatically. I went to the Department of Building Safety. I also called the fire department. One captain, once I could get the words out, did send a team, but they didn't spend any time really looking at the structure, in my opinion. Of course, it's been hours since days since I've slept and stuff, because I don't feel comfortable sleeping there. The floor is at such sharp angles, but they were so busy looking at me and what I look like and making snap judgments about me that they didn't really pay any attention to the structure, in my opinion. They didn't go to any other floors. They didn't even really look. I had furniture everywhere in my apartment because I left in a hurry, so they couldn't really see the floors. I understand that there were no textbook indicators like the gaps around the windows and cracked glass, but I doubt that building in Florida had those textbook indicators. I really wish they would have spent just a little more time and kind of looked past this and really looked at the structure, which I don't feel that they did. Building safety gave me the runaround. So did 311. I don't want to disparage anyone, but I have to be transparent and be honest. I think we have to be empirical. We cannot look for an advertisement for everything. I think that they just were so busy thinking I'm a criminal or a drug addict or crazy, like it's all in my mind. Don't you think I walked around this building several times before I decided to call y'all? I have a Stanford degree. Okay, I don't pop no pills, I don't do no drugs, and I don't drink. I use my eyes and I use my mind. The structure is not, it's deteriorated to point rapidly since last week. It does not appear to be sound. Now, I'm not an expert, but you're telling me that you have, this experience and that experience. I think you were just kind of hung up on me, but I think if you just would have taken a little bit more time to just really thoroughly examine each floor. I didn't want to waste your time either, and I appreciate you all coming out, but I don't think you spent enough time, truthfully. So, America, be cognizant. World, be cognizant. We have to think. We have to examine. Dissenters are being watched very closely. This is not a conspiracy theory. Dissenters are being watched very closely. I try to post on Instagram about blue check people because I'm not afraid of confrontation and I'm not afraid of discussion. I expect people to have a counterpoint. It was suppressed. It goes nowhere. They are trying to program us. And we have to get to the throne. We need God. We need God. Ha baba yoshima klishma, yededi yoshta baba ya klishma. Ha baba yoshima klishma, yededi yoshta baba ya klishma. I'm perfectly sound. I'm a spiritual person. I'm a praying person. I believe in God. But it's important also to be empirical. It's important to examine. You know what I'm saying? But the more you see, the more skeptical in a way, the more empirical, the more critically you think, the more clearly you can see what's right in front of you. You know, my building has shifted even considerably since last week. It is worse on the west side than the east side of the building. Now, there's not a lot of, there is sagging, but they didn't spend too much time in my room. They were just looking at, well, what's behind this door? What's behind, like, more interested in my story. Like, I don't know. I only rent the master. It's a rotation of different people and has been since I've been there. They did not really examine the structure. But if you tap in the breezeways, if you're the footfalls in the breezeways, at certain points, it did feel hollow, like, you know? And it is sagging. The wall towards the south-facing wall where my door is, to my part, Unit 205, is coming forward. The walls on the west side are coming inward. All seems to be converging towards the breezeway. I'm not going to lie or equivocate, but they did not really examine the building. They were more interested in me. I think these Google Noodle Bing brains are very, very intent on creating a dehumanized society. And we absolutely have to be critical thinkers. We have to be empirical, but we also have to think. We can't just look at the numbers and say it's it. We have to be able to say that person could lie to me or they could miss something. Let's double check. Let's verify. So before I reached out to the fire department, and I didn't want to, because I know how people think about me. I look different. I'm this, I'm that. But I really went every floor, 1 through 4. I walked all around, inside and outside. And the floors, and I have email documentation, both with my management and my landlord, from whom I'm a subtenant. The floors have always been uneven, but they've become dramatically less even in the past few weeks and certainly in the past week. It could be due to the construction at the adjacent lot, or it could be due to seismic activity or some other factor. I don't know. But as I mentioned to the team that came out, I am not able to sleep comfortably in the room anymore. And my concern was I'm so tired. It was so gradual, I just don't want to become used to it to the point where I won't even detect it at a certain point. I'm just so used to it. I hear creaking that's not accompanied by any footfalls. I've always heard the footfalls of the unit above me. But now I hear creaking that is just the structure itself with no activity going on above me. And it's abrupt. This is at 10983 Wellworth Avenue. And the only reason that I would go to this extent is because these are students. Many of them are far from home. They're internationals. They're probably not aware, you know, but I have a degree in film and media studies from Stanford. I observe things very closely. I agree with the fire technician that came out that there are none of the, well, he didn't go as far around as I did. I did look and spot at least one crack in the molding on the east side of the building. But you're right, the gaps around the windows and things of that nature, although I do hear them flexing, there are none of those textbook signs. I imagine that those would more closely be accompanied with normal wear and tear over a long period of time. As the fire captain asked when I first spoke with him, did anything happen? It could be something abrupt that has happened, either something seismic or something to do with the impact of the adjacent construction. I don't know, but like I said, it's deteriorated rapidly since last week. So it may be an indication of a trauma to the structure. I'm not sure. But I wish there was not so much attention paid to me and a little bit more empirical examination of the structure itself. You know? But I've gone as far as I can go to make this clear. And I'm afraid people are going to say if something did happen, that it was something intentional on my part rather than the structure itself. But I'm pretty sure if you take the time, instead of judging me, to really examine each floor, first through the fourth, you will reach the same conclusion. My building management did not do it, and I have documentation from them where they've been in their personal quandary or conflict with me. They've always been that way, and they say one thing and then they immediately contradict themselves in writing, indicating it's just more of a personal thing. They say that I told them, you're welcome anytime. Come by anytime. I really want you to take a look at this. They come by and don't ask about it. I was sleeping when they arrived, but I woke up to the sound of them working in the apartment. They never knocked on the master bedroom door, because as I had mentioned previously, I only sleep right inside the master bedroom door. It's the only place where the floor is in any way level. So I would have heard if they had knocked on the door. And they came back a second time, which seemingly only to harass me. I sent them an email last week saying, come by, you're welcome anytime. They sent me an email saying, we don't have any intention of investigating this particular matter, but we've reported it. Then they sent me a subsequent email telling me that they were denied access to the structure, to the apartment, when they had already been there once that day, and I heard them. And I wrote myself an email too and forwarded it to Gisela. Like, don't play me. Y'all have always had it out for me. You've always kind of seen me as like a second-class citizen. And I work hard, and I'm probably more high-achieving than all of you. But it's not my job to impress you. That's not my job. But I truly am concerned, and I hope that you all take the time to just walk it. And I feel comfortable that I have enough documentation from you guys. I've gone over and above, and I don't have any vested interest in, maligning anyone. But it doesn't appear to be sound. I'm not an expert, but I've seen it shift significantly, and I've paid a lot of attention to it. As I mentioned, I emailed Caesar 2 years ago. The floors have always sagged a little bit, but it's become increasingly steep. And again, I thank the team for coming out, but I think they were probably more curious about me and didn't spend ample time examining the structure itself. And you really need to go to every floor. I understand that it did not show those those telltale signs of long-term distress. But as the fire captain, intimated, has there been a trauma? That it could be something abrupt. But definitely the sounds are not normal. I know normal creaking, and it's very tense. It's very abrupt. And it's not just, something in my imagination. I would love to go home and take a shower and sleep. But it does not appear to be sound.